Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Dudon. Welcome to Trending Vegas. We're talking about the big stories flooding your social media channels in recent weeks. I'm joined by a portion of our city's social media team, including Natasha Shahani and Jace Radke. Thanks for joining us, guys. Ahoy. And our social influencer guest today has a big following, especially on YouTube. Ashlee Williams joining us today. Thanks so much for being here.
I'm excited.
So I don't think I've ever had a YouTuber on, so tell us about your YouTube channel.
Well, that's an honor. My YouTube channel is primarily dedicated to homeschooling and just getting information out about that, kind of breaking down some of the stereotypes around it and sharing how we do that.
Right, and it's called
Grace and Grit on
Grace
YouTube.
And Grit. Okay, and so what gave you the idea to start this YouTube channel? Was there not anything out there like it and you were able to capitalize on it?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, when I was looking for information as I was kind of considering this method of schooling for my family, there really wasn't anybody who I related to. I found a lot of people who lived in very rural areas, a lot of people who had 15, 20 kids, and there just wasn't anyone that felt like me that I could connect with. And so that was kind of the motivation to start sharing, was to help people see that homeschooling is becoming more and more popular. It's not as weird as it once was. There's tons of options out there, and to just kind of share and hopefully help other people.
And I know that in Nevada, homeschooling is bigger than people realize, but you have a lot of followers from all over the country, it seems like, that are constantly asking you questions. You do pen pal things with the kids. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's taken on a life of its own. I had no idea that all of these different opportunities were going to happen, but it's been really cool to kind of see the success play out from just putting myself out there. It's kind of scary to share your life and your journey, the real journey, not just the polished up journey on YouTube, especially when you're taking on something new. But I think a lot of people connect with the authenticity of it because I talk about the hard things, I talk about the good things. And it just started growing and growing and growing, and it's been really cool.
I mean, on top of it, you actually have to promote your YouTube channel on social media, so I've been showing you some Insta stories, but it's a lot of work to make these videos, isn't it?
Yes.
How much of your time does it take, would you say?
Well, when I first started out, it was much more of a hobby kind of idea, but as it's grown and taken on a life of its own, it's definitely become an actual job, which I know a lot of people don't think social media influencing or marketing is a technical job, but it truly is. I mean, from filming the content to coming up with the content ideas to editing it, and then combined if you're working with a brand or a sponsor, you have to send it in for approval. They're never happy on the first time. You have to come back, refilm it, timing, deadlines, posting, making sure that you're posting regularly because that's a huge part of being successful.
Preach.
So,
Wow, our social media team's like,
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yes, girl. Okay, well, we're glad
and
you're
for
here with us.
hours, maybe 25, 30 hours a week. It's almost a full-time thing now.
On top of homeschooling her kids, so pretty much this is super mom joining us today. Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we have a lot of trending topics to get to. Unfortunately, we're starting with 2 more mass shootings in our country. Everyone was shocked to see the Walmart shooting in El Paso, but shocked even more to learn there had been another mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio. Here's a look at some of the social media we saw. Breaking, authorities say the 21-year-old white man accused of carrying out the deadly mass shooting at an El Paso Walmart confessed after surrendering and said he had been targeting Mexicans. This one kind of what we all felt. I went to bed horrified by a mass shooting and woke up horrified by another mass shooting. This is a beautiful picture outside of the memorial in El Paso. Beautiful El Paso sunset over the Walmart memorial. I turned on the TV this morning and saw 9 dead. I said to myself, last night they said 20 dead in El Paso. Then I read the headline shooting in Dayton, Ohio. Almost couldn't believe it, but actually I can. And here's another El Paso strong thing. A lot of things that we saw during the 1 October shooting here. And guys, I have to say, full disclosure, I am from El Paso. And I took this shooting really hard. I didn't think it was going to hit me as emotionally hard, but it did. I don't know if it's because it's my hometown. That probably has a lot to do with it. But I have noticed that I am hesitant, maybe because I am Hispanic, maybe because it's just one too many and my bucket's full. I'm scared. I am nervous to go out in public. Is it just me? How are you guys feeling? What are you all seeing? Natasha, let me start with you.
I think I was on vacation actually when all of those happened. So we got news whenever we got
service, so it was really hard to see, to be kind of away and seeing one after the other. And it is scary. I was in London after London was bombed like 10 years ago, and I remember just being like heightened, like everywhere I go, oh, could this person like have a gun, or could this person have a bomb? And then with everything, September 11th and all of the recent mass shootings, and to go through October 1st here, like I think how can you not go somewhere and wonder, is this the last time I get to go somewhere?
Right.
Which is hard, but on the same time, like, you can't live life like that either, because then you're not going to want to do anything at all. So it's really hard, and it's sad, because after October 1st, you're like, I hope this is the last time we have to do this, and it's not.
So far from it. Ashlee, what are your thoughts? What are you seeing on social media?
I just saw a ton of support coming from Vegas to El Paso, because we all know what that experience and how that changed the city. And so I was just so impressed with everyone sharing on social media, that Vegas stands with El Paso and all of that, because truly after something that horrific, that's really all you can really do is just lend your support and your love to the people that are grieving and the families and the victims.
Right. My aunts, plural, were really upset that this was happening. My entire family lives in El Paso. And I said, the one thing that's going to come out of this that's really going to touch your heart is just the love you're going to fall in love with your community all over again. And I actually got a text message last night from one of my aunts saying, you were right. I am so in love with this community. I've never felt stronger about El Paso, and I'm so glad we're here. Jace, what are you seeing on social?
Yeah, I mean, it is like that, like Ashlee was saying, we got that from Orlando. When we had October 1, Orlando sent us a bunch of stuff, and it really helps. I think that is a good thing. You see this incident and it's horrible, but you do see this vast outpouring. So I think it makes everybody feel better. I think the other thing we're seeing is, the Mayor Goodman here in Las Vegas, she was one of 200 plus mayors that signed a letter to Congress through U.S. Conference of Mayors, basically asking Congress to do something. What that something is, I think, is the million-dollar question, because obviously this issue gets political, and I think, the mayor's expressed her frustration with the gridlock and the politics in Washington on this, and I don't know what the answer is. I'm sure the mayor doesn't know, but she wants there to be a dialogue. It was basically her message, that there needs to be a dialogue on this to try to find some way to stop these types of things from happening.
Absolutely. The one thing I thought was interesting, and let me go to this social really quickly. This is from Channel 13. Here's a part of our original interview with Connor Climo, I don't know how to say his last name. He was doing a patrol back in 2016 in the Centennial Hills area, and he was patrolling. He was just arrested because he had plans to attack other groups, LGBTQ groups, Jewish groups, and it's just scary. And since then, this past week, more people have been arrested for these plans to carry out these mass shootings. So I am trying really hard to not be nervous. I don't like to go shopping with my husband right now. I don't want to take the same plane as my husband right now. I feel like we should be separate. I'm hoping I can get over that, because you're right, I don't think we should live like that, unfortunately. I think because I've had a shooting here in Vegas and then one in El Paso, both which are my homes, I just feel like, what? So hopefully we can just lend our support like you saw, Ashlee. Just keep giving our support to people in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. If you notice, Project Neon is complete, and while you'd think everyone would be thrilled, well, you'd be very, very wrong. All right, here's a little bit of that. After over 3 years of construction, Project Neon is finally ending. Here's this tweet. Hooray for completed road projects in Las Vegas. 63 lane miles of new paving, 29 new bridges, and 10 miles of drainage improvements. Project Carpool Lanes. Project Neon is pretty much a wrap. Guess who's that from? That's from Ken Smith, who's been very vocal about his dislike for the carpool lanes. And then we have this, well, they just spent 3 years improving this interchange. Well done, guys. You can see he is stuck in traffic. So I'll go ahead and start with this one. I love it. I think it's great. I am not an opponent of HOV lanes. I think they're great. They don't need to be 24 hours in my opinion, but I really, really like Project Neon. I'm glad to see that it's complete. I think for me, the realization that people think construction is just going to end one day. It will never, ever end. It's just not the world. Ashlee, what are your thoughts?
I personally love the HOV lanes.
Yes.
And anyone who complains about traffic in Las Vegas needs to think of living in California, where it takes 35 minutes to make it 2 miles. We're all very spoiled here. But I personally love it for my commute, out into the Southern Highlands area, all the way into the far Northwest area.
Yeah.
30 minutes across the whole entire city.
Right.
I think it's awesome.
Are you guys still getting complaints on your end? What are you guys seeing?
Well, one, we weren't responsible for Project Neon. So let's just clarify that right now. It's always something like, why'd you do this? What, they just want something to complain about.
Right.
But personally, I think it's great. I was driving through, I live and work in downtown, so I kind of was driving past the Charleston 15 in the evening, and there's like these new lights and it, under the corridor where the bridge is, and it's beautified the area.
Right. There's this picture right here that's up, and it says, monitoring the HOV lane along southbound US 95 at Cheyenne Avenue. It appears to be underutilized. So my thing is, maybe you all should carpool and utilize, or have some kids.
There's
Jace.
options. Yeah, I mean, complaining is really a fun thing to do, I guess, on the interwebs and stuff. But it works pretty good. From I drove down there this weekend. My house is in the Northwest. I came down 95, and always when you used to come down 95, you'd hit I-15 there at the Spaghetti Bowl, and you'd slow to a crawl. Now it dumps you in down by Sahara, so it merges it further down, and it worked for me.
I think it's great. The only thing I question, you guys might not know this, I'll probably have to call someone over at NDOT. There is an exit that I accidentally got off because on the 15, it's like the Neon Gateway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
What does that go to?
That has been a question we've received on social, and I always just had Project Neon, but I cannot remember what they've said, because I've noticed that too, and I was like, what does this mean?
Yeah, I accidentally got off and it said, well, where am I? And why is this called the Neon Gateway, and where does it go? So I'll call NDOT, and I'll put it on Twitter. So if you want to follow me at VegasMelD, I'll get you guys the info, because I want to know. Okay, guys, finally we're talking football, but we're actually talking stadiums. Our stadium for the Raiders has officially been named Allegiant Stadium. I have to admit, I was laughing at some of the social media posts. First, here's the announcement introducing Allegiant Stadium. Here's this one. The Las Vegas Stadium will now be known as Allegiant Stadium as the Raiders announce a naming rights deal with Allegiant Air. From the Sun, Allegiant expects to grow into newfound spotlight with Las Vegas Stadium deal. This one was funny. Las Vegas Stadium, it'll be open on Sundays, Tuesdays, and maybe Fridays, maybe. And then there's this one. Will they charge extra for bags? And so, Jace, let me start with you. What were your thoughts when you heard that Allegiant was going to be the name?
I mean, I think I've seen some chatter on social. It's nice that it's a local company. That's a Las Vegas, Nevada-based company. It's the money is crazy. I mean, it's like, it hasn't been officially reported because they don't have to, but the things I've seen say between 20 and 25 million for 30 years. So,
Each year.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then again, it's a $1.9 billion stadium, so that's how much those things cost. I'm more worried beyond the name of, what happens on a Sunday night when there's a Raiders game, a Knights game, and the traffic going back to Los Angeles. That's going to be fun and interesting to see what happens to the traffic then.
Has Allegiant said anything about maybe doing deals for people coming out of LA or coming out of smaller towns if they have Raiders tickets? Do we know?
No, but that's smart.
I'm sure there will be. There'll be smart marketing with it. They'll tie it together.
I will say that I read an article in the RJ that talked about this is Allegiant Air 2.0, that they ran into all that trouble several years ago, but they've revamped things and they're really looking for marketing wise. What do you think, Ashlee? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about the whole stadium to begin with, but it's happening. So I'm just like, whatever you want to call it that. But those HOV lanes will be real handy, like you said, when everyone's leaving. I mean,
that's true.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to have a bigger impact than I think a lot of people realize.
That's true. You're going to have to carpool to the games.
Yeah.
Do we know where we're parking yet at the games? That's still up in the air?
Yeah.
Okay, so HOV lanes, maybe we can helicopter in, we can get together and be dropped in the middle of the stadium. Natasha, what are your thoughts on the name?
I think people are just going to call it the Death Star because that is what people have been referring to it on social. And the photos of like the actual Death Star from Star Wars and the stadium are hilarious. So if you haven't seen those, definitely look that up. So I don't even know if it's going to be referred to as Allegiant Stadium very much. But the Allegiant did get a lot of backlash for like, you know, I don't know how I feel about this. Do I have to pay for extra legroom? You know, like stuff like that. So how many people are going to continue those jokes? Only time will tell.
If they're smart, they'll use that in their marketing. You know, they'll be like, they'll show the legroom at the stadium and be like, so, you know, there's ways to turn that around if they're smart.
Especially on social media, right? You know, not necessarily a commercial ad. I do want to say that LVCVA okays $3 million for Pac-12 championship. That's a big deal. Everyone that I know is talking about the Pac-12 championship.
We're going to use the stadium. It's Las Vegas. We do big events better than anybody, and now we have another venue to do them in. So, I mean, that stadium's going to get used between the Raiders, UNLV, Pac-12 championship. There's going to be more stuff there, too. We'll get a Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, and we're paying for it, right? So we better use it. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Ashlee, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, if you're in need of work, the city has a new program that could put you on the path to success. When we come back, a closer look at Ward 5 Works. Welcome back, everyone. While unemployment numbers have improved in recent years, the city of Las Vegas is working to make sure its residents are getting as many opportunities as possible to get back to work. I'm joined now by Dr. Morris Hibbler, who is joining me to talk about Ward 5 Works. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
So what is Ward 5 Works for those who have never heard about it?
So Ward 5 Works is a part of our Vegas Works strategy. It's the city of Las Vegas looking at where in our zip codes do we have high percentages of either unemployment, underemployment, or public subsidy.
Right, because some people look at it and go, well, unemployment's just improved so much, but there are still pockets within our communities that are still struggling.
Absolutely. You know, unemployment rate right now is back to historical lows, so somewhere around 4%. But in our communities, we have certain zip codes where the unemployment rate is 16, 17%. Could possibly even be higher.
Wow.
And we look at that data and compare it to the number of percentage of people that are on public subsidy, and it kind of gives us an idea where we have people that are either unemployed or underemployed.
Now, why is that? Do they not have access to transportation, or what kind of challenges are they facing?
It's a myriad. It could be transportation, it could be skills. You know, there's a lot of jobs right now. Obviously, we are having a really good boom right now in Las Vegas, but not everybody has the skills that are necessary to take those available jobs. So we see some skills gaps. Councilman Creer, when he came into office, said, hey, we really got to do something about unemployment. And I'm not sure everybody really knew. I mean, this is one of those things where when you don't have the data, you don't really know. So if you think everything is 4%, you're really not that concerned. So we had partnered with Applied Analysis and said, hey, can you run an analysis on what we're seeing in our zip codes? Where do we have the highest rates of unemployment and public reliance on public subsidies, so we can get a better handle on it? Right. And it did show what the councilman had been saying, which is in his ward, in zip codes like 89106, 89101, which is the downtown area, 89108, that he had over 200% higher residents that were reliant on public subsidy than anywhere else in the city of Las Vegas.
Wow.
And so it really told us that we had to do something different, and it also allowed us to take that information to our partners and say, hey, here's an opportunity for us to make a difference in the community. We need to reroute resources so that we can support people in this particular area.
So you guys go to your partners, ask them, say, are there any job opportunities? What can we do to help place these individuals in your jobs?
Right. So we started with Workforce Connections in the Department of Education, Training, and Rehabilitation. That's the state department. They are responsible for workforce development in our community. They receive federal funds to do so. Okay. But again, we still needed to provide them with that data. So once we provided them with that data, they were like, hey, we're on board. You know, what do we need to do? Right. Do we have an access issue? You know, do we need a different type of service? And so we started to look into that. We also started going out to some of our employer partners and saying, hey, You need employees, and we have people that need jobs. How can we meld the two? What types of skills do people need to have in order to be considered work ready? And one of our premier partners has been Martin Harris, who's doing several projects with the city, including the courthouse and a couple of apartment complexes in Symphony Park. And they were able to break their jobs down so that we could understand those skills. And then working with our workforce partners, we could make sure that we could bridge that gap so that we can get people employed.
Does that include giving them the training that they might need, or any little certifications or any sort of classes they may need to fulfill the job?
Everything from resume writing to interviewing skills to OSHA training. Oftentimes employers are willing to do the training. They need people that are what they call work ready. That means people that can come to work on time, that have those, what we typically say, soft skills, but they'll do the technical training if they can just get those people that come with a good attitude and are ready to work. And so we've been working a lot in that area. But then also if there's specific training that employer needs, through our workforce partners, we can get that as well. Right
now, there's so much growth taking place downtown. It seems like there's a lot of opportunities out there.
There is a lot of opportunity, but I think that what we've come to find is there's also a lot of people who, because they've been out of the workforce, it's harder than you think to get back into the workforce. As long as you're coming as you are, but you're ready to work, we can work with it. We can help you and deal with that. And we can help navigate that process so that if you do need childcare, if you need transportation, if you need work supplies, sometimes you have to have work boots or different clearances, we can help you through that and streamlining that process. I think people sometimes are embarrassed by the fact that they really don't have a resume, or they don't know what it's like to come dressed for an interview. Like, what does that mean if I don't have anything in my closet? I mean, should I still show up or not? And so we've told people, please show up. You know, we've had Dress for Success that came to our last job fair. They'll help people make sure that they have those outfits that they need for interviewing. So it's really about taking away any stigma and just letting people know we're here to help, we're here to serve, and we're not here to pass any judgment. And we want to make sure that everybody can be gainfully employed and have that economic viability that we all want to have.
You recommend this program. I mean, this could really put people that are without hope some hope, give them hope.
Yeah, what you find is that this is just our community doing what it does best, right? We are coming together, we're building the different partnerships, and we are just reinvesting in areas where we see that there's more of a need. And so honestly, it's not as much about the city as it is about the city was at the forefront of going to our partners and showing them where we needed to have, you know, a different approach. I have to say our partners have been fantastic. The employers have been fantastic. They've been extremely responsive, and most of them just didn't know. Without that information, they just didn't know that they had such a need. And so I love our community because, you know, people jump in and they want to know how they can help. And so if there are any employers that are interested, we certainly would want to give them that information as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we always talk about making sure your house is installed with smoke alarms, but a new program by Las Vegas Fire and Rescue is making sure residents of Sun City aren't left out. We'll explain coming up. Welcome back, everyone. Newer homes are typically always up to date on fire detectors, but what about older homes, and what about seniors whose homes need to be retrofitted? Las Vegas Fire and Rescue is stepping up to help. I'm joined by Chief Nolan and Deputy Fire Marshal Rick Rozier to tell us all about this new program you guys have going on. Thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
So Chief Nolan, let me start with you. Tell me about the need for smoke alarms in Sun City homes. Why is there such a need there?
Well, typically the Fire Prevention Division does prescriptive programs enforcing codes in businesses. We've done that for many years, but we've had a lot of people die in our community in the places where they should be the safest, their homes, whether it's a single family home or apartment. And most of those weren't equipped with smoke alarms until about 1980. And even then, when they were equipped with a smoke alarm, After 10 years, they become ineffective. They're prone to false alarms. Batteries have to be changed regularly for backup, even if they're hardwired. And we want to get into the home to educate people about trip and fall safety, prescription drug safety, getting them into eligible homes, into meals, any kind of assistance that they might need while we're installing the smoke alarm. So the smoke alarm program solves a couple of problems for us. It allows us to replace the existing smoke alarm with a new alarm with better technology, with a 10-year sealed battery as a backup so that they don't have false alarms. It keeps seniors off of ladders, and it allows us to get proper education materials into their homes so that they can live a safer life.
Absolutely. Technology changes so much. I could not be walking around today with a brick cell phone and expect to get the same service, right? So same thing with the smoke alarm. So tell me a little bit about, Rick, about this program. How do people sign up for this? What exactly, how does it work?
Well, right now what the Sun City folks are doing through their neighborhood preparedness team is that they've developed a series of town hall meetings. And in order for the resident to participate, they have to attend one of the town hall meetings. They learn about the program, the need for smoke alarms and for maintenance of those smoke alarms, and then they actually sign up. And then we will put them on one of our installation blitz days. Right now we have a partnership with local electricians, and we go in once a month and we install between 50 and 60 homes.
Wow. Is there a cost associated with this?
Yeah, right now we're hoping to get some sponsorship or potentially some grants, but right now each one of the residents has to pay $100. And what that gets them is new smoke alarms in each of the areas where they currently have them. It gets them installed in areas that now are required by code but may not have been back 30 years ago when they were originally built. And it also gets them a combination carbon monoxide smoke detector. They do have to be maintained. They do have to be tested periodically. So that's what we're hoping to do with this program, is enlighten the folks in the area to maintain their smoke alarms and then help us help them.
Chief, can you talk to me a little bit about the need in this specific group? I mean, senior citizens, do they need this kind of help more often than not?
They really do, and in the Sun City area particularly, there is a fire station, 107, and they were going on a lot of calls, 911 calls, because the people were saying, my smoke alarm's going off. But there was no fire present, and this was impacting our ability to deliver emergency services throughout the community. So it's a call reduction strategy as well as a needed risk reduction strategy in that community.
So Rick, where can people go for information on your next Blitz Day? Where do they go? How do they sign up?
Well, luckily enough, I just talked to the folks with the preparedness team, and they want all the information to be put out through the Link magazine through Sun City. So they'll periodically put articles in the paper there and indicating where the Blitz days will be, where the town hall meetings and what days they're going to be on. Our next Blitz Day, EDS Electronics is going to be helping us out on September 18th. That's already full. Our October Blitz Day is already full, and our town hall meetings in September and October are already full. So we're getting a huge turnout. People are really excited about the program. Stavros Anthony actually came by and kicked off the last one last Saturday.
Is there any chance that because it's sold out that you guys will extend this program until you can reach everybody?
Well, our hope, there's almost 8,000 homes in Sun City that we're hoping to reach eventually. And you know, at 50 per month, it's going to take us a long time.
Right.
So we're hoping to increase the number of Blitz days that we have per month and try to make it even more efficient to where we can do more than 50 or 60 in a day. So there's a lot of work that's going behind the scenes to make this even more efficient and better. But right now we're glad that people are actually taking an interest in their safety and signing up for these programs.
Well, great program. Thank you guys for thinking of this and getting out in that community.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, thank you at home for watching. Remember, you can get in on the conversation. Just follow us at City of Las Vegas and use the hashtag TrendingVegas. You can also find us on YouTube, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time.